The Golden Knights remain perfect at home after a 4-3 overtime win over the Utah Hockey Club. Our takeaways next on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. And please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. VGK, Chris, with a come-from-behind 4-3 victory over the visiting Utah Hockey Club. OT on Saturday night. Brett Howden scored the game winner for the Golden Knights in overtime. VGK trailed 2-0 in this game. Logan Cooley and Ian Cole, that goal off of Nick Hague's skate, scored there to give them a 2-0 lead. But then the counter by Pavel Dorofeev, he potted his 7th goal of the season. But the big goal for VGK was that of Noah Hanifin. It was the first goal that he scored this season. It was under 1 second left in the second period, and it provided a huge momentum boost for the Vegas Golden Knights.
I'm chuckling because, as anyone that follows me on Twitter knows, that me and Chris always spend a good portion of the second period taking a walk around T-Mobile. We go outside, we go inside, we go to the shop, we watch the diagrams, we maybe get some dessert, whatever it is. We're usually walking for most of the second period. At about 15 minutes left, I say to Chris, hey, next whistle, we're going to get up and go. Lo and behold, like 6 or 7 minutes of actual game time go by without a whistle. So it was like 9 minutes left, 8 minutes left. There's finally a dang whistle. I say, Chris, are we going or are we staying? He's like, we're going. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So we start taking our walk. We make it about 3 or 4 minutes. We hear the horn. That was the Dorofeev goal. We're watching about the last 4 minutes of the period. When there's about 1 minute left, I say, okay, let's start making our way back upstairs. We're on that big, long escalator. Me and Chris are the only ones, and all of a sudden, there goes the horn again. So that was the Hanifin goal. So VGK Nation, you're welcome, number one. But number two, yeah, I mean, that goal definitely made it feel like, at that point, it really felt like the VGK was going to win this game. It just kind of had that vibe. And really, when VGK was down 2-0, it didn't feel that bad either. VGK was in this game. It was kind of almost for a second feeling like the game last year in November, when the Coyotes came and shut the Golden Knights out 2-0 at home at T-Mobile. But VGK was able, obviously, to have a better result yesterday.
Yeah, for Hanifin, it was a greasy goal. He assisted as well on Carlson's second goal of the season. What is this with all of these backhanded shots?
It's interesting. I mean, backhands, number one. Backhands are tougher to, control. It's also tougher for a goalie to get a read. And this is where I don't know how many people are like this in the NHL. I'm sure there's a chunk, but my son Christopher, for example, he writes righty. He shoots hockey lefty. So as time goes on, if he sticks with it, he'll develop a nasty backhand because he has two dominant hands. So I don't know how much of that transfers over to NHL players necessarily, but backhands, listen, anything you can do to give yourself an advantage is a good thing. And players that have a good controllable backhand will find more creative ways to score goals. Sometimes it's a savoir-faire Denis Savard type of thing, but either way, however they come.
Alex Kerfoot tied this game at 3-3. Howden's 6th goal of the season wins it in overtime, 2:15 into the extra period. So VGK improves to 8-0 at home. It is the first time they have that record since the inaugural season. They started off, an 8-game win streak, I should say.
8-game win streak, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, in the inaugural season. But 8-0 is something that is up there in the record books for VGK. No penalties for the Golden Knights. I was watching the game. There was just one penalty. Oh, by the way, have you heard? VGK games can now be watched in Montana. You can't get them in Inspirata, but you can watch the Golden Knights in Montana.
Oh boy, disciplined team. It was on display. Braden McNabb. I don't forgot who it was on the Coyotes, but someone was giving Braden McNabb the business all the way down. Probably 4 cross checks to the back, and McNabb just gave him a little shove, and that was about all. Listen, this is a vet team. It's a very smart team. They know how to win a championship, and the players who are not Stanley Cup winners, like a Noah Hannafin, are still really good, talented players who play the game the right way. And it's good to see him get the win at home. I mean, I just put a tweet out this morning. It's a glass half full, half empty perspective. The half full perspective, hey, Golden Knights got 2 more points. Take it. It's early November. Don't overthink it. And the glass half empty side is the Coyotes took the Golden Knights to overtime despite being without 2 of their best defenders. And at times Coyotes were the faster team. So is this a concern as VGK heads on the road for November? We'll obviously hit that a little bit later in the show. But at the end of the day, it's 2 points. Don't put a lot of thought into it, but let's see what happens. I mean, Edmonton is a prime example. What the heck happens when the Golden Knights face an Oilers team without McDavid?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. This is a Utah team. They were up 2-0. I tweeted out this could very well turn in VGK's favor because they were playing pretty well. They were skating pretty well. They had, of course, the goal that goes off of a defenseman there for
first 7 or 8 shots of the game. I think were all VGK too.
Right. And so, they were playing a pretty good game. They had outshot this Utah team, but Utah is a team that has blown some leads. And I go back to the game against San Jose. They were leading 4-1. And then in the last 4 minutes of the game, the Sharks scored 3 unanswered, and Utah lost that game in overtime. And so I felt that this is that type of team. Hey, did you realize that Utah played with 7 defensemen last night?
No.
The fourth line was missing, devoid of 1 forward. So I saw them tweet out their lineup and the line combinations. Yep. And so their fourth line with 2 players and a roving defenseman against VGK's top line. And that is a no-brainer. And also, I think we need to point out the fact that with those key injuries for Utah defensively, with their 2 blue liners out, we saw where the Golden Knights took advantage to the lack of good defensemen, quality defensemen, and they were pinching all the time in that game last night, and thus we saw the Hannafin goal.
It's funny because I noticed VGK's defense was definitely pinching in there, and at one point there was a 2-on-2 situation where the Coyotes were coming down quick, and it was I don't know if it was Petran, whoever it was that pinched in. The other defenseman at that moment was actually Kolasar playing trying to skate backwards and have defensive duties on a not an odd man rush, but certainly a transitional moment. And watching Kolasar, he wasn't as most comfortable at that moment. But listen, VGK got it done. That's the good thing. General note: Mark Stone didn't have it last night. Stone did not look good. His pocket got picked on the first goal. Passing was out of sync, out of rhythm. I know he missed practice on Friday, and obviously that's their situation. I'm not knocking him for that, but the point being is just, and again, you're not going to have it every single night of the year, but definitely the Eichel line was just a hair off. And I felt like in the first period, VGK was trying to outsmart themselves a little bit, making that extra pass instead of just firing. I mean, that William Karlsson goal, it's a backhand. It was a chip shot, right? I mean, that's a save that Ingram's probably going to save 9 times out of 10. It just found a way there. I'm sure you loved it, Tony, but
the puck was rolling on its side, the bad ice and all that, and he just eyes closed, backhander, 5-hole.
It also counts, Tony. It also counts. And so that's what my point is, that you just fire those pucks. You never know what's going to happen sometimes. And I think once VGK tried to simplify, just putting the puck to the net, that's when you saw some really good things happen. And obviously Howden, great move on that last goal to kind of break the defenseman's ankles, and a backhand goal. And there you go.
Yeah. And, And Karlsson, once again, passes up the opportunity to have a wide open Tanner Pearson score a goal. Okay. I'll just take it myself. I got this. I'll just take it myself. The top line for VGK, you sort of alluded to that. Of course, Stone, his wife, was expecting their second child. Boy, it was a heck of an all-star break for these cats. The top line for the Golden Knights, 9 months, count.
I just did the math.
Yeah. A little math. Baby Theo. Okay. Stoney, baby Stoney. Okay. So the top line, what is it? The last 3 games, I think they've got now just 3 points in the last 3 games. So the Golden Knights are
Good.
going to have to lean on that complementary scoring, which you've alluded to a number of times on the show.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if we were talking, I mean, okay, that top line right now, 20, 36, 48 points in 12 games on that top line of
Jeez.
Barbashev, Eichel, and Stone. Pietrangelo with 12 points as well. Hurdle, 12 points, a little quiet last night. Dorothy of 10 points.
500
Obviously,
assists at 500th career point, bro. He got the
for
puck. Hurdle the turtle.
oh, good for him.
Yeah, assist. Yeah.
Good for Hurdle. At least there was no lasting effects from him going back in that hockey game the other day. But I mean, listen, Kolesar obviously in the makes of a career year. We're going to talk about what Howden's doing right now. Even Nicole Schwitt right now finding ways to get on the scoreboard and things like that. Holt's a little bit of a slower start, but that's okay. Noah Hannafin, 3 points last night. That was he matched his 20, 24, 25 total with 3 more. He's up to 6 on the season right now. Tanner Pearson, again, 7 points. He's on pace for 40-something points. I mean, it's just, about 55 or something like that. So who knows? Maybe McCrimmon found a way to just kind of strike gold, so to speak, again, where all these players are going to have career seasons, and it's going to drive the Vegas Golden Knights to have possibly a deep run. We'll obviously have to wait and see how that shakes out. But yeah, I mean, all is good to a degree, at least when they're playing in Southern Nevada. Obviously, you got some road games coming up and a lot of more road games in November. So we'll see what things look like December 1, I guess, with this team.
Coming up next, Brett Howden is on a heater. We'll talk about that when we return right here on this edition. We're recording on a Sunday, so we're a little chippy, of Lockdown Golden Knights. We are brought to you today by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money and real sports action. Over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Just pick more or less, at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. PrizePicks, the best place to get real money sports action. And you can play PrizePicks alongside a lot of different, all sorts of celebrities, including Drewski, MMA champion Sean O'Malley. You can now find community plays under the promos tab. Just go there of the app and you view entries from some of the biggest names in the community, in the PrizePicks community. So check that out. Sign up today. You get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's it. And you don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. PrizePicks, the best way to win real money this football season. Check it out today. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real money all season long. Again, download the app today. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. You'll receive $50 instantly when you play $5. We are also brought to you today by Indeed. We are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. It is match. Just match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. It has over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, for screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates so much faster. And listeners of this show, you will receive a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/lockdown. Again, Indeed.com/lockdown. Just go to Indeed.com/lockdown right now. Support our show, Lockdown Golden Knights, by saying that you heard about it, Indeed, right here on this very podcast. Indeed.com/lockdown. Terms and conditions apply. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Back on this edition of Lockdown Golden Knights from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. We are working a little OT on this Monday edition. It's great to see you on a Sunday fun day, bro. Don't forget Fridays, WTF, Saturdays, the Chris times Chris Jr. show. So, Brett Howden scored the game winner last night on a beaut of a goal, and it was an overtime. It caps the 4-3 come from behind victory over Utah. Howden now has 6 goals. He had 8 goals all of last season, and his career best is 9 goals in a season with the Rangers and a couple of seasons ago here in Las Vegas. That goal was sensational. He faked out Alex Kerfoot, and then he beat Ingram there on the backhander. Why was Howden? I think fans were guessing too, and it was asked of Cassidy postgame. Why was Howden on the ice in overtime?
I think before we get to that, we look at Howden's game. He deserved that moment. And no one deserves anything. He earned that moment. He earned that opportunity to get out there and have the big moments. I mean, listen, Howden's fast, number one. Heard last night in the post game how Howden was a first-round draft pick and everything. And at some point, that, I guess, triggers in a player's mind, and they start playing like a first-round draft pick. That's partially what Cassidy was saying last night. Cassidy also referenced that Howden has the ability to – it was about balance, right? He was talking about the balance of who was out there. Basically, it was one faster skater and then one kind of more balanced skater. I forgot who Howden was. It wasn't Howden Wah, I don't think. I don't know who he was supposed to be out there with, but Howden was definitely the balanced side of it. I know that. So listen, Howden plays well on both sides of the ice. He can take faceoffs. He can definitely, although he was over 2 in the circle last night, but Howden can go in there and do the center responsibilities and things like that. In overtime, it's an interesting tool to have, I guess, in the tool belt of Coach Cassidy. And yeah, it worked. So good on Cassidy for trusting Howden. Good on Howden for delivering.
Yeah, so Howden's going to get more minutes there to make up for, I think, what did Cassidy say? For all the goals that left town, something like that, which was pretty funny. On TV in that overtime period, long shift for the Golden Knights, and you could hear them saying, they're tired. And then all of a sudden, Howden to the rescue, and he pots the game winner. So that was pretty good. In Los Angeles, he's been around the net. I think he hit the post in LA as well. And so he was really close. That's why I had everything correct. Overtime, 4-3. My predictions are on fire. Speak about a heater, bro. I did have Howden score a goal last night, and he did it. 10 points in the playoffs, 5 goals in the cup run for Howden. So he did step up when he needed to. And that was good. And this is a player that was in that 28. So he started in Tampa, right? He was traded to the Rangers, part of that Ryan McDonough and JT Miller trade, and then wound up here. And they considered him when he left New York a bust. I'm not going to lie. A lot of the fans in New York were just chirping a lot. And so VGK got him for the minimal. They're a draft pick and another also ran player, but a very good find for Kelly McCrimmon and for the Golden Knights. It's paid off.
It definitely has. As far as what the Golden Knights are paying him right now is 1.9, which honestly at the time, I think you and I both kind of shrugged our shoulders a little bit at that number, but obviously the Golden
Did
Knights
we say it was too much?
I felt like it was a little bit high.
Yeah, we thought it was high. We did.
1.5 is where I thought it should have been, but whatever. I mean, it's that 400K is getting covered now, so who cares at this point? Howden's in a pool of players now. McCrimmon's going to have some decisions. I mean, Kolasar doing very well. Olofsson, we'll see when he gets back in. Holt and Schwint are RFAs. That'll be interesting. Tanner Pearson, UFA, that shouldn't matter. Braden McNabb, UFA. Nicholas Hague, RFA. So as spicy as this recent offseason was, the 24-25 offseason could be even a little bit spicier. But back to Howden here. I mean, listen, he's on pace for 40 goals. He is pacing for 40 goals and change right now. I don't think that's sustainable, but who's to say? I mean, Brady Anderson hit 50 home runs once, so why can't Brett Howden get 40 goals in a season? I think you talked about career high as far as points was 20 points in the 21-22 season. I mean, obviously a long way to go here, but looks like Howden can go way past that. And I think Howden's most important contribution to the Vegas Golden Knights came in the Stanley Cup run, 22 games, 10 points, 5-5 as far as goals and assists goes. So, and that was on a second line role. Now
Yeah,
you're
top
seeing.
six.
Here's what
Top
happens,
six.
Tony.
Yeah.
Howden makes the right winger on his line. Howden made Mark Stone great last couple of seasons.
Very true.
And now he's up there. Now you look at what Dorofeev is doing. This is all Brett Howden. This is why Brett Howden gets his own line, Tony. I beat you.
Didn't he have his own
that.
line? I know we haven't talked much about the Brett Howden line. He's like in a different class. And here's a guy that played in Moose Jaw. He played in Moose Jaw. I did look up the bio today. But Howden has really he's been around the puck an awful lot. And so you said he's a UFA. You didn't get to that. You just go
No,
right into
yeah,
the other
UFA.
line.
UFA.
So he'll be. So how much is? I mean, if he continues like at this pace, he's worth $3 million and more.
If he scores 40 goals, he's worth a lot more than that.
Well,
this is a spot where you wonder if McCrimmon makes the phone call to the agent and says, I mean, listen,
let's get it done now. Get it done.
2 weeks
right?
ago, if they say, hey, $2.1 million, 3 years, come hang out with us, I think he signs it. I think now if McCrimmon were to knock on the door and say 2.5, four times 2.5, $10 million deal for 4 seasons, I think Brett Howden's camp is going to turn that down right now, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I really do. It's good. I mean,
yeah,
there's
good on
a lot
him.
of work
Definitely good on him.
Yeah, we like to see these career years for these free agents for sure.
It makes for good off-season content.
Well, someone said that I hated Theodore. Remember when I said if he tanks it, he'll get about the same amount of money, but he'll get a VGK contract. And if he exceeds everything, then he'll be a free agent commanding a lot more. But they got that done. He's already signed, sealed, and delivered. November rain. We're going to talk about VGK. While undefeated on home ice, they are winless on the road. Small sample size.
People keep telling me.
The Golden Knights are going to have to face some big tests on the road. We'll talk about the upcoming November schedule after this on Locked On Golden Knights. We have a new sponsor alert. Listen up, renters. Ever feel like you are stuck in the loop of rent payments, just watching your money vanish into thin air? It is time to turn that rent game around and start earning some serious rewards. And that's where Built Rewards comes in. Okay, real talk. We've been here and there feeling like we're burning cash, and those rent checks, it's frustrating, right? But here's the deal. Built Rewards has figured out a way to make rent more rewarding. So say goodbye to the rent bonfire and say hello to a renter's revolution with Built. It's built.com/lockedon. That's where you need to go. And we need to tell you a little bit more about Built because it is breaking ground as a neighborhood rewards program. It hooks you up with points on your rent. That's right. So every month you pay your rent and you watch all of these Built points roll in. And you can use the points to jet off on a dream vacation. One of my friends just told me she wants to go to the Maldives. See you later. I need some Built points is what I'm getting at. Put your points toward a flight, a hotel stay. There's 500 plus airlines, 700,000 hotels and properties. Earn your points by paying rent right now when you go to joinbuilt.com and /locked-on. That's join built, BILT.com /locked-on NHL. And make sure that you use the URL so they know that they sent you from here. Join built.com /locked-on NHL to earn points with your rent payments today. And we are also brought to you on this Sunday by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action this season, the entire season, with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Yes, you could get all the NFL action. Last I saw, the Raiders were getting torched here for local interest only. Because right now, new customers on FanDuel can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything that you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play action, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com. Join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win on the first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas. Of course, in addition on FanDuel, college basketball tipping off in a major way on Monday, so a lot more action there. The sports equinox is definitely here in full flight. Well, it was during the World Series, and now it's kind of, I don't know what they call it now, but most of the sports are in action. Fridays, WTF. Saturdays, the Chris and Chris Jr. show. Chris, you can lead us into this one. I'm kind of gassed from reading 2-hour-long promos and commercials.
I mean, listen, November is going to be interesting. The Golden Knights have a total of 9 games on the road, 5 games at home. And now we will learn what this Vegas Golden Knights team is all about. The Golden Knights have done a good job winning home games against what we can say are lesser opponents. Definitely been some advantageous circumstances as far as rest and what have you. On the road, the Golden Knights have yet to win a game and just 1 point to show for their 4 road efforts. So what's going to happen come November when there's going to be 9 road games? The road opponents are as follows: Edmonton, Seattle, Anaheim, Utah. Then you got a 5-game roadie: Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Colorado. And again, going back, Washington is a home game in the middle of that. So it's 7 of 8 on the road, basically.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. The Flyers are in there too in that stretch. Yeah, after that, I think, right?
The Flyers are the 4th of that road trip. So we're definitely going to really get a taste of what this is all about. And I guess we're gonna something we're gonna answer also is it a home road split thing, or are the Golden Knights not faring as well against the better opponents? I think a lot of questions about the Golden Knights will be answered a little bit after American Thanksgiving. Tony, there you go.
Small sample size. I like Cassidy trying to make things, I guess, optimistic for his club, and that he's trying to just say, okay, guys, we weren't very good, but I think we'll improve. And they did. They blew leads, in their first games on the road. Now they're going to have this very tough stretch coming up, and they will have, by the end of November, a good enough sample size to evaluate if it's the home road dichotomy. We don't know what's going on. Why are they a better team at home than on the road? We do have to point out that Ilya Samsonov missed a practice the other day, and Akira Schmid had to be used as a backup goaltender on Saturday night. So Sammy, a little bit of tightness, right? That's it. Was that the only report?
Sure. I don't know.
He's got a couple of days to get better.
The report is he came to the game sore on Saturday morning, which certainly supports that this was. If the Golden Knights knew that before Friday that this was going to happen, I don't think Friday night. I don't think Schmid would have played. I think Pipirny would have had the start on Friday night, kept Schmid healthy just in case something happened. The Henderson Silver Knights, if I read right, basically used, I think, one of Ontario Reign's players one of their coaches or something like that as their emergency goalie in the game. So that was interesting.
That was pretty interesting. And
I had to Google that dude. Noble something was his name, I think, and I still couldn't figure out what his hockey. I think he played like in the same division as UNLV as far as college hockey a little while back, and yeah, I don't know,
dude. Where is Isaiah Seville? I know we were going back and forth last night on the X, but
did you find he was in that picture I sent out? Did you catch that, Tony?
I think you circled. No,
I didn't circle it.
No. It was just larger than everyone else. Yes, I'm not good with the telestrator, so I couldn't, circle it around there. The folks in Montana, I think, saw that. We wanted to talk about, with all of those games for the remainder of the month of November, we always like to put a total, an over-under on total VGK points. And I'll let you go first. I have my number. It is in a sealed envelope, and you can go first.
Mine is on a sticky note, not sealed. So
no, it's just
9 road games. 9 road games, 18 points up for grab. I'm going to say the Golden Knights get 8 points on the road. 5 home games, already had the game against Utah. 10 points up for grabs. I'm going to say 7 points. So I'm going to take 15 points.
Ooh.
If I'm going to handicap an over-under, I think probably 16.5 or 17 is probably
come
where
on.
it should be. But I'm
I
saying
have
15.
16 and a hook. I have 16 and a hook.
Yeah, that's the right number. That's the right number.
It is. Okay.
And the over probably gets shaded a little bit because everyone's going to bet the over.
All right. When are we going to start betting mega pucks again, or whatever you call it? The total
I saw a new
number.
one today. So you have when you do a round robin bets, you can, like if you do it by 4 teams, you can do 3s and 4s. So you're doing 4 3-team parlays, 1 4-team parlay. And there's a new word like Shazam or so. I forgot what it was called. I was scrolling locally in one of the apps today, where if you want to like tee up 10 different teams, it does a round robin starting all the way by 2s, by 3s, by 4s, by 5s.
Whoa.
And if you did 10 teams, it'd be like 180 bets or something like that.
So how much would that cost? Like $1,800?
Every unit, whatever your unit is, times like 180 or something like that. So if you're $1 better, it's $180. If you're a $10 better, it's $1,800.
Wow, that's
you better get set. You better get about 8 of 10 right, or you're losing money on that bet.
Yeah, they found some new and innovative ways to take my money.
Put a name on it.
I did have a total the other night. The Boston Celtics and Charlotte, the Hornets, in the first half. So the total was 233. I just have to tell these bad bet beats. I actually pushed on the bet. So the total was 233.
Shocked you made a bet.
They had it just looked, because all the numbers have been so high in the NBA, but this one was like a no-brainer. Both teams, like neither team plays defense. They run up and down the court. The first half was like 147 points. They slowed it down to a crawl in the second half, and it landed exactly on 233. Best bet, folks, go to FanDuel. Go to FanDuel. Or no wagers at all. Or that 10-team parlay there that you were talking about. Don't forget on Fridays, it is WTF. We need to do a show from Montana, from up at the ranch. WTF on Fridays. Saturdays, it is the Chris and Chris Jr. show. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll have another show on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, VGK on the road at Edmonton. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. And we'll see you again tomorrow right here. Or let's say Tuesday, because it is Sunday, and we're going to get this milk as many. You know what? We're doing this for the likes, folks, and all the hits. We'll see you again on Tuesday right here on Locked On Golden Knights, and please take care.